Now, say my name.
The Rolling Bad Podcast.
You're goddamn right.
Welcome to the Rolling Bad Podcast, episode number 78, coming to you from the cold Rio Rancho, New Mexico. We're recording on Monday, November 12th. I'm your host, Randy's house guest, Elric, and with me is...
Bill Costello, who just realized he put Monday, November 12th, and not Tuesday, November 12th.
Oh, I'm the genius that read it. I was even thinking that. Monday, November...
Yeah, Monday we were watching football.
Oh, fair enough. Watching that terrible game.
Oh my God, that was so much fun.
The Dolphins and the what did we say? The Bengals. Yeah, the Dolphins and the Bengals.
It's the Toilet Bowl, brought to you by NBC. Oh, it was such a fun night because we're all together at a bar, and Andrew was only slightly into the Seahawks.
Yeah, I mean, he's a casual fan.
Yeah,
a fair weather fan, if you will.
Basically, when they're doing well, he's with them. And okay,
yeah.
And so watching a game with someone who's that invested.
Oh yeah,
you just get to. I mean,
it's fun.
It's a 7-yard penalty.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 42-yard field goal. That's 2 yards shy of or 2 yards over a 40-yard field goal.
We were not making his life any easier,
no.
Which was great. So,
all right.
So, hey, you know what?
What's up?
We're a part of the Forge the Narrative Network. Did you know that?
Yeah, we talked about it last show.
Okay, I was just reiterating that.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. So we're actually working out the details. I don't know when our first show is going to show up on there.
Okay.
Because we still have to work out a couple of technical things, but. Yeah, it's happening. It's we're moving forward with it. So
sweet Christmas.
Yeah. It is. It's a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing. So I'm happy and proud and excited.
Nice.
So that's from Apollo 13, by the way. If you ever seen the movie,
long time ago, Bill.
Okay, well, that long.
Although I have to say, that is a clutch movie when you're playing 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
that one comes up a lot.
Yes, it does.
So
let's jump right into the new stuff.
Yeah, what's been dropping from the old G-dubs? What's been dropping from the tree?
Not much. Okay, yeah, there's been a ton of stuff.
It's so good.
So it's November, and that means holiday toys and gifts. And... it means the Advent calendar, which I said I was not going to get, and turned around and got.
Yeah, I noticed that. Well played, sir.
Oh, I'm the sucker for those prints, though. I really am. And it's not like I have wall space to put them up. So, I don't know. I'm just an idiot, but I had to, when they announced that video on the stream that Peachy and Dunk were going to do an unboxing of the Advent calendar, I thought it was some big joke. Because unboxing an Advent calendar would be kind of lame.
Okay.
But they actually did tear through some of it and show some of the days. And I was like, you bastards.
Nice.
I was not amused. But hey. So, the stuff that came out Saturday was the red paint handle, the painting stick, which is actually an oh my God thing. We'll talk about that in creation.
Good.
What else? And there was just a few other little things that dropped. The OCR Bone Reapers, all the kits came out.
Yeah.
And that piece of terrain is amazing. Oh,
that's ridiculously huge. Good Lord. It's bigger than the Gash.
Yeah.
Base-wise and I think height, it's like right there with him.
It's right near him, and it's only $50. I'm stunned.
Yeah, you'd be tempted to buy that even if you're not a Bone Reaper player and just turn it into terrain.
That's what I was telling the guys at the store on Saturday was you just look at all the pieces you get. Those 4 pyramid, obelisks would make great little graveyard markers for any undead army and, Legion and the Gash army.
Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah, I mean, it's just, that's a kit that's well worth that money. Woo. It's kind of like the Maw Pot Ogres.
Over the Ogres, yeah.
I mean, that is a brilliantly put together kit Anders over there at the store was saying, you should get 2 because you can build the pot separately and have it as like a Nurgle's, Grandfather Nurgle's pot.
Mm-hmm.
And then everything else works. Even the base works for terrain, just scatter terrain. But the tusks that are on there, you can use that to doll up anything in destruction.
Yeah.
So, and the sheet, the thing that hangs over it, that's the human flesh. When do you not need a big,
sheet of human flesh?
Yeah, for destruction, chaos, corn,
sure,
you name it. So,
did you get talked into buying 2 boxes, Bill?
Of the mall pot?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I built one, and I've got the other one just for parts. Because I Anders is right. That's going to make a great little grandfather's stew pot for my Nurgle guys.
Well, he's such an evil genius.
He doesn't even have to work when it's me.
Yeah. That's
hey,
true.
Bill, look, shiny. It's in shrink wrap.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, he won that. He won that round, and he'll win many more.
Yeah.
I just don't think I'm in his weight class.
Couldn't be a contender.
I mean, that's kind of what came out, but the big news really has to be what is out for pre-order coming up on Saturday, which is, at long last...
Here they are, boys.
Here's the deal. O.J. Simpson killed some people, went to jail, and got out before we got Plastic Sisters of Battle. So...
Allegedly.
Allegedly. So, but the day is here. We have Plastic Sisters of Battle.
Yeah.
And I know one of the two of us is going to go in big on this. And newsflash, it ain't me.
Yeah, I'll be trying to get my mitts on as many of those boxes as I can.
You're going to jump completely into that.
Yeah, face first.
That's outstanding.
Like a human lawn dart.
What, may I ask? Is it just the aesthetic, or have you always wanted a Sisters Army, and now it's here?
Well, I've always wanted a Sisters Army, and also the thing that appeals to me the most about these games, I love orcs.
Yep.
And I love religious zealots, and I love the underdog. And to me, especially in 40K, well, Mortal Realms are, I think, equally as brutal.
Yeah.
It's far worse than the old world used to be. But in 40K, that's why I loved my guard so much, because the idea of just a regular chode human in a universe that's loaded with like 10-foot tall demons with weapons made out of literally your nightmares charging at you, and these giant orcs that are going to eat you alive as they get their hands on you and stuff like that. It's just such a terrifying place to be. So
the idea that they do it,
and these poor bastards get out there and do it is just awesome to me. And then you have the sisters, who is essentially the same thing. It's the underdog mixed with the religious zealot. That's why I love the Black Templars, and stuff like that. It's just something about them. It
is. It's a phenomenal story. That's why I used to also love the Black Templar. I still do.
Right.
But, it's that whole idea of this misguided zealotry.
Mm-hmm.
But for all the right reasons. You cannot fault, you can fault them if you want for their actions, but you can't fault them for their actual unwavering belief in the Emperor.
Yeah.
And nothing will stand in the way, to the point to where they're like, Emperor said, no psychers, get your warp-touched butt out of here.
Yeah.
And
yeah, honestly,
not only do you play on the back foot as a Black Templars person with no psychic power, but even, if you want to look at it in real life, the real Black Templars are on the back foot against virtually everything, because everything has psychers except Necrons.
Yep.
And so they're always
Necrons and Tau.
Yeah.
Their psychic power is rail cannon to the face.
That's a really good power.
Yeah, it's pretty strong power.
And you don't have to roll for the warp charge.
Yeah, there's no perils of the warp on that.
There's perils of the reload.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, it's always been that whole thing of winning with Black Templars. You feel just a little bit better because there was a whole phase of the game that you couldn't play in.
Yeah.
Well, you could deny, but,
So.
Plus,
you're doing the Emperor's work.
That's right.
in the best way you possibly can. So
With bolter and sword.
it's so good. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Very good.
So that big Sisters of Battle box set's coming out at $210 American dollars.
Yeah. So that's kind of like the new price point for these starter boxes. It feels like is the
$190 to $210.
yeah
range.
the north of $200 boxes, which at first was pretty rough. I mean, even when I found out what this box was going to be, I was like, ooh. But then I had to pause and think about not just the quantity of models you're getting in these boxes, but the quality too is just. I mean, you're getting half a Sisters army practically in that box. So
Pretty
two
much.
of them is pretty much a full-on army.
And
you sprinkle in vehicles.
You're getting the limited edition codex too.
Yeah, that
so
too.
that's a $60 to $70 add-on.
You know, and you look at the Feast of Bones box.
Oh,
that is,
God.
I mean, it's a massive amount of models. The Blood of the Phoenix box is full. There's just tons of stuff in there. So, yeah, I mean, it's a good price hike from they were only $150, so it's like a $60 jump, and you're getting like vehicles. Generally, you're getting
big stuff.
either vehicles in 40K or stuff that goes on like 110 mil bases for AOS, like massive kits. So. Yeah, I think it's fairly justified. Plus, they all come with books. Didn't Feast of Bones come with a rule book?
It comes with a rule book and sort of there's a pamphlet in there with all the war scrolls for everybody and the points, and then there's a narrative a narrative set of battles in there. I won't call it a campaign, but it is a campaign really. Yeah, that you can play with just that box.
Did Blood of the Phoenix come with a 40K rule book?
No, not the whole rule book. It had the core rules.
Oh,
just the core rules, just like the feast bot. It has the
core
rules.
So it doesn't have the big hardback rule book in it anymore. That's fine. I think everybody and their mother has one of those at this point.
Yeah,
but.
And if you don't, you can pick them up for like $3.99.
Yeah.
So it's the boxes these days. One of the things that I always thought, and I never really articulated, was a lot of these big boxes that were coming out were absolutely loaded with plastic.
Yeah.
But a lot of it was older stuff that they, chances are, went through the warehouse, ripped the boxes open, and repackaged everything.
Mm-hmm.
But the Sisters of Battle stuff is all new, and you're still getting what I have to believe is a sizable discount on that box. So I will probably end up kicking myself a year from now when I really want to do a Sisters army. But, I can't justify it right now, not with all the Primaris that I have yet to build.
Yeah.
And all the, oh my God. I mean, I want to get my Eldar out. I want to get all this stuff out because Psychic Awakening is making things fun again.
Yep.
Well, not again, but funner.
Definitely pulling our attention to 40K.
Yeah, in a big way. So
yeah, good stuff.
Yeah. So that's the big news. Sisters of Battle are here. And boy, it's been a long time coming, and I hope to God that box sells out in 30 seconds so that they really can justify. I mean, because I know Kevin, the CEO, this is one of those things where he said, all right, the fans are crying out for this.
Yep.
We're going to do it. And if it doesn't, if the hype doesn't match the sales, then we will never do this kind of thing again.
It's time to put your money where your mouth is.
That's right. And that's why I'm saying I hope it sells out in under 30 seconds or something to justify the effort that everybody there at the workshop went through to put that out on the table.
I'm certainly going to do my part.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Do buy 2 boxes so you can make up for my sorry butt.
Oh, I'll see what I can do.
Okay. So also last weekend at the Black Library Weekender, they announced some other things. 2 new models. The Valerian and Alea models. Alea is a Sister of Silence. Valerian is, of course, Valerian. So, if you're a Custodes person, you're looking at him going, wow, he has no hat.
He's the Christopher Walken.
Yeah.
Do you see that side-by-side picture?
My
it's
God,
hilarious.
It is. Sometimes it makes you wonder if the sculptors don't,
have a little fun with it.
And who could blame them?
Right.
Why not? If something's iconic, do it.
Yep.
So, because you can't really look at Sly Marbo and go, no, that's not him.
Yeah, right. Did you ever see that? It's not a Games Workshop person that did it, but somebody sculpted a face to look like Russell Crowe from Gladiator and put it on a Space Marine captain.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
Pretty good. Painted it up to look just like him and everything. Yeah, it's an older one. That one's been around for probably a good decade or so.
I hate people that talented that can just, take a lump of stuff.
Yeah.
And, oh, by the way, now it's Russell Crowe.
Yep.
God.
Yep.
But thank God for those people, because otherwise we wouldn't have all the stuff to play with. So.
Yeah, we'd be pushing wooden dowels around.
Yeah. This bottle cap is my Primaris.
Styrofoam cup Carnifex.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. I have my Lego Cavalry. So also at the Black Library Weekender, they announced the leather-bound editions of the Horus Heresy series. Now, I don't know if they're going to do like all 50 gazillion books, but just the first 3 books would be like, I can't buy them. I have so many editions of those books.
Yeah, that's the first thing that pops into my head is like another reiteration of them, huh?
Of the Horus Heresy.
Yeah, no, I'm good, boys. We'll pass on that one.
I don't know. I would truly love those first 3, but I don't know. It's just, at some point you have to draw the line.
Yeah.
And then they showed some Black Library dice. And did you see the Legion pins? The Horus Heresy pins? So they're doing 2 sets of pins, 9 in each set. I bet you can figure out how they're split.
Okay.
But they're the really nice enameled pins, just for putting on whatever you like, your jackets or your backpacks or what have you. And they're the original, very original logos of the legions, the 18 Adeptus Astartes legions. Legions.
Wow.
So they are, oh my God, gorgeous. I cannot wait. Evidently, they're only going to be available at the Black Library Weekend.
Of course.
But then they'll make their way into, they will make their way into general sales. So
we'll see.
Yeah, I'm totally jazzed.
I guess so. I have such mixed feelings about that kind of stuff, right? Of like event exclusives.
Yeah.
Like you want to kind of incentivize people to come and reward them and stuff. That's cool. But I don't know. They always seem to do a lot of event exclusive stuff.
I mean, we go to our fair share of events where this stuff is available.
Right.
But I also know a ton of people that don't. And I feel very, like I don't go to Adepticon because the timing is just wrong for me.
Right.
And I always feel like I miss out on whatever is there. But 3 weeks before, I was at LVO and had a chance at almost all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a weird, I would say if you're going to do something event exclusive, maybe after that calendar year is over, just make it available to everybody else.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Something that, so there's a lot of people that can't get to an event. That guy in Brazil isn't going to be able to just run up to Nova whenever he feels like it.
Right.
So, yeah. But they know what they're doing and they're making the sales. So I shan't say a word.
Except for all the ones you just did?
But yeah, except for those.
Oh, okay.
And I can edit those out.
Oh, but you won't.
But I won't. So also, there's a couple of Start Collecting boxes coming out for Vanguard Space Marines and Chaos Space Marines. Once again, it's a nice discount on stuff you have to have anyway.
Yep.
So,
well, let's talk about the Space Marine one first.
Sure.
It's the 3 sniper guys. I don't even know what they're called. Executioners. Eliminators or something like that. I think that's 3.
Executioners, yeah.
3 for 50?
Yeah.
Normally?
Yeah.
So for another $40 or $45, you get all the other Space Marine stuff in there.
Basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is basically going back to you're paying for 2 units and getting the 3rd and the character for free.
Except it's even more in this, because it's everything from Shadow Spear? Yeah.
Yeah, it's the Shadow Spear box split into 2.
Yeah.
The Chaos and the...
So you're actually getting quite a bit of stuff.
Yeah. So if you missed out on Shadow Spear, or you didn't feel like going in for, halves with somebody,
exactly,
here's your chance. And yeah, the discount is enormous. I mean, you're saving, I would say on each box, probably about $50 at least.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the math is.
Yeah, I haven't done the math, but it's a chunk.
It's probably more than that. I'd say it's probably about a $200 box and a $100 price point.
Yeah. And in the Warhammer Underworlds realm, we have Rippa's Snarlfangs coming out as the next warband.
Yep.
They look pretty cool. I mean, goblins riding wolves.
Well, it's always been a thing
Yeah.
for orcs and goblins for
Yeah.
a long time. Those old models are, well, they're old.
They're dated. Yeah.
Yeah. So to see them redo those, that's so cool.
Yeah, completely reimagined. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's going to be, and it looks like they'll play kind of, they're going to be fast
Sure.
because they're mounted. So I wonder how they're going to, I'm looking forward to seeing how they play. So
Yeah.
I actually got my first game of Beastgrave, Warhammer Underworlds, Beastgrave in.
Okay.
So I'm really liking the new rules. Now, the changeover and dropping all the Shadespire cards didn't affect us because it was just me and Pam playing, and we just played with the new set. So that didn't affect anything. But, boy, you can see where it would, where some of the ways the new mechanics work, some of those older cards would be way too powerful. Well, either way underpowered or way too powerful. So
Okay.
I'm kind of glad the way they did it, the way they're doing it, just remove all those cards. They're not in play anymore. So, and knocking the restricted cards down to 3, I think it is now. I think that's a good change, too. And now we come to the elephant in the room.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, Psychic Awakening, Faith and Fury. Wow. Does this just hit that little happy place in your heart?
Oh, all over it with righteous zeal. So Black Templars. Yeah.
And, if you look at that table of contents, it's, here's some background story. Here's some generic rules for Space Marines and, a couple of other. Oh, and by the way, the rest of the book is Black Templars. So it's kind of a Black Templars codex.
Yeah, they kind of hinted it. Well, they didn't even hint. They straight up said that there's as much content as a Space Marine supplement,
Right.
like the Iron Hands and Imperial Fist stuff in that, just for Black Templars, plus all the other stuff that's going to be in there.
So many people I know have Black Templars armies. I used to have a nice one. I'm so happy to see Templars getting their due.
Yep.
It's going to be fun. So you're going to do Templars Ancestors?
Yep.
You're just going to have the black, white, red, Emperor's Holy Fury.
Yep.
Die by my right hand.
Lots and lots of religious nuts.
That's awesome.
It's gonna be good.
That's going to be, oh man, I can't wait to see it all.
Yep.
So that's basically what's up in New Dawn. I mean, that's kind of it. Let's take a break and we'll go to creation. Okay, so I guess we'll hit the creation stuff now. And the first thing that I want to hit is something that I'm not sure a lot of people know about, but should, because it is reasonably cool. It is the Games Workshop Hobby Crusader program, or they call it Citadel Crusader. And this is available at every Games Workshop store in the world. Void where prohibited or taxed. What the Crusader program is it's a way to get new players into the hobby with some freebies along the way as they progress. Or if you're an already established gamer, you can basically prove how cool you are by getting all the cool stuff reasonably quickly. But what it is, it's the Build, Paint, and Play program. And what it is you get a card when you go there and join into the program. And what you have to do is you go through a build class, a paint class, and a play class. Basically, you build one of the models that they have that is basically a build and take, and then a paint and take. So you'll build a model. The store managers will take you through the process of, how to do all the stuff, how to build GW models. Then in the painting class, they'll give you an overview of the Citadel paint system, so you'll know basically how to approach a project. And then the play class is basically a demo of one of the games that the store manager has available. It doesn't have to be 40K or AOS. I believe they'll do like Warcry and Kill Team and stuff like that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's really kind of cool. But then there's some, well, as you do those classes, they have custom dice made up, the build, paint, and play dice. So if you do all three, you'll end up with a set of dice. You know, it's only 3, but they're kind of cool, and they show you did something.
Sure.
And just for entering the program, you get a lanyard. You know, the build, paint, and play, Citadel build, paint, and play lanyard. So they're always giving you stuff along the way, but there's a prize at the end. Once you've done all of that stuff, you also get the build, paint, and play pin to put on anything that you want. Then to take your next steps in the hobby, what they have is, and they keep track of it because the card that they give you comes in 2 parts, so you can keep track of your stuff and they can keep track of it as well. But after that, you complete a build project. So you build something and take it into the store and show it to the manager. Then you complete a battle ready project. Basically, you get something painted up to battle ready. Manager says cool and puts a stamp on your card. Then you play a full game in the store. So reasonably easy because there's almost always somebody in the store that wants to play a game. Then you complete a scenery project. Hey, who doesn't need scenery, especially if you're new to the hobby?
Sure.
But if you're already established, you just bring in something you've already done. Then there's a achievement there for attending an event, which is any event. It doesn't have to be, you know, a Kill Team tournament or one of the tournaments run. It could be like the Store Anniversary event or the Christmas event. Yeah, I mean, it could be anything. So if you're going to be a part of the community, just go to one of the events. And then, of course, they have the typical, hey, we got your money, but bring a friend because we want their money too. So, you know, like I told them, that was the one that I would be unable to do because, you know, I have to pay my friends and, you know, they don't always want to go to the store. I have to pay them extra. Yeah. So, and then you earn all Army Collector points. And what that is I think it's, I don't remember what the break point is to get the stamp. I think it's for every $10 that you spend. Okay. You get a stamp. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on the number. Talk to the store manager about it. But when you've got all the blocks stamped on your card, you're going to get one of the Citadel Crusader fold-up dice trays, which are only available in the Crusader program. They're not anywhere. You can't buy them at any of the stores. You can't buy them at the GW or the Warhammer store. So it's kind of a neat little way of saying thank you for either being a new hobbyist or being somebody that's been around for a while, because anybody can do it. And if you've been around a while, chances are you have all those things knocked out.
Sure.
So take a look at it. Go talk to the store manager. The fold up, you know, it's one of those leather.
Yeah, they're nice.
They fold flat and, you know, they button up to make a nice little dice tray. So it's a $35, $40 little toy there. So just for basically doing what you're going to do anyway.
Yeah.
So take a look at the Citadel Crusader or Citadel Crusader program, because it's actually really cool. It's something that they're basically, it's all free. It's all, here's your stuff. Go do it.
Sweet.
So, yeah.
All right.
So other things in creation. Let me see. I put out a video the other night on how to fix the, I say fix. No. How to improve the Citadel paint handle by drilling a hole, filling it with sand and glue, and making it a little bit more weighty at the bottom. I haven't had an issue with I've had some where they fall over a little bit, but it wasn't until I started putting the ogres on the paint handles that I noticed they really do like to fall over.
Oh,
so
okay.
I had to add some weight to the bottom, so I figured I'd do a quick video of where to drill the hole so that you don't knock the center bolt out, which would be bad.
Yeah, definitely.
So
cool.
Yep. So that video is out there if you want to look at it. I'll put a link in the show notes somewhere. But mostly for my hobby stuff, I built 2 full sets of the Dark Imperium boxes, and like I told you offline a little bit ago, I have to apologize.
Oh, yeah.
I have to issue an apology to you because I did not understand what you were saying way back when you built the Dark Imperium box.
Yeah.
And we're talking about the mold line on the Primaris
shoulder pads. Yeah.
Until I built those and realized it's not so much of a mold line as it's almost like where there was an undercut or an overhang in the mold and it just doesn't fill correctly. so it leaves a little divot along with a raised area near it. And it's really, you really have to work to cut that out and smooth it down.
Mm-hmm.
It was annoying, but yeah, so I built all those dweebs, and then I built the two Hellblaster squads and 2 of the Inceptor squads. So
Nice.
And I redid the Flyboys because I didn't like the way the stands held them. I didn't like the idea of gluing the stands on, so I basically had to put a drill to them and put a little bit of brass rod in there so that the flight stand, and just clipped off the very end of the flight stand so that they go into the brass tube and they hold at the same position they would have been, but they're A, a lot easier to transport, and B, I don't have to glue anything. So
yeah, that's good. Yeah, the flying bases. I don't know what they were thinking when they made those. Like, they just don't function well.
No, they really don't. And unless you drill it and pin it, and that's a very finicky place to be drilling and pinning, the glue, the actual contact spot where you can put glue is so small that even super glue is going to break over time. Yeah. So.
Yeah, and that's just for those things. I mean, it's essentially the same flying base for, like, the Argonaut ironclad and stuff like that. It's like a bananas-sized model to be trying to glue to a little connection point like that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That don't work out real well. So.
Right.
But some of those I got a lot of it primed over the weekend, so I'll be able to start painting ogres. And I primed my salamanders green.
I mean, you primed your Blood Angels green?
Yeah, my green Blood Angels.
Or your Raven Guard green, or...
Well, they'll function as... Well, okay. They're going to count as.
Oh, God. Here we go.
No, really. That bottle cap is an Invictor.
Okay. I'm with you.
So you've done some hobby. What?
I have done some hobby. I have been painting. So I talked about it on the show, last show. I'm not sure exactly.
Last show, yeah, the Juggalo show.
Yeah, the Juggalos. I've been painting the Juggalos, and I had the absolute treat of this last weekend being in Denver with Randall and telling him that they were indeed going to be painted as Juggalos. All the great swords would be painted like Violent J, and the Demigriff Knights would be painted as Shag 2 Dope.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Of course, I'm not painting them like Juggalos, Randall. Jesus, take a deep breath. So, yeah, I'm painting them up in the Hammer Hall scheme, which is mostly blue cloth, gold armor, and then like white and red feathers and highlights and stuff like that. So I thought...
You can really go crazy.
Yeah.
The accoutrement.
So I figured I was looking at the paint scheme out of the book, and the way they do it in the book is with the old paint style. Yeah. So it's, the base layers, highlights, stuff like that. And I was looking at the blues, and I thought, all right, I can do it the old way, or I can try the contrast paints and give those a whirl. So I decided I would go with the contrast paints, and I got to tell you, this is my first time using them, and I kind of wish I had used some test models or something first, but whatever. It's somebody else's army. I don't really care. No, I'm just kidding.
They're all test models.
Yeah, they're all test models, baby. It's 2,000 points of test models. Yeah, they are. There is a learning curve there.
Yes.
For real. I know we've talked about it when they came out, but this is my firsthand experience with them. And they are, oh, man, it's hard to explain. So you got to be patient with them. Which, I'm just starting to paint in general all over again. So my brush control sucks, and, all the techniques are lacking. I don't know. They look garbage at first. They look absolutely garbage. And then after they dried for a while, that's when they start to look good.
Yeah.
And it really throws you off because so I'm so used to being able to move paint around to grab a little bit more and add, and you cannot do that with contrast. You have to slap it on and leave it alone.
Yeah.
And so trying to relearn all of that, it's just been, it's been difficult, but I do think that once I get the swing of it, I'll be able to crank out the army
Nice.
and get it ready. He wants to play him at LVO. I don't know why. I know he thinks that they're a pretty straightforward army. I've played against a Hammer Hall now, and I think there's a little more to it than that. And I would hate to see him go to Las Vegas Open, massive event, and play the army for the first time there.
Yeah, that would be a pain.
I don't know. So
It's not generally a place you want to be learning your army.
yeah.
Unless you love the middle lower tables.
Well, that is Randall's wheelhouse, but
That's where I am.
I think, I mean, I know he's listening, so I would go with the Fire Slayers, buddy. That in no way implicates me of having the army done by then or whatever, you know.
But
No, I don't know, but we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, I got to get the paint going on them again.
yep.
That's been my hobby. That will be my hobby for the foreseeable until I'm done with it.
Sure.
I'm done with that army, and then I'm thinking iron jumps.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
One thing I'll say about contrast paints, and you might even have to like label your bottles because some of them are very thick with pigment and some of them are very thin with pigment.
that's what I've heard.
And the thick ones, you either put them on straight and get a very dark coat, or you thin them out a lot with the contrast medium. But they almost behave differently because the thinner ones, you have a little bit more time to work with them. And like you said, to push them into places and to add a little here and take a little away and move it. Whereas some of the thicker ones, and it seems to me like the darker colors are the ones that are very thick.
Makes sense, I guess.
Yeah, it does. They have to have a little more pigment, so they have to have more carrier. So, but there's a learning curve there. It's not just, you don't just aim the hose at the model and have it come out looking
like all their advertisements show. Yeah, I think they advertise it because it's fantastic stuff. I think it was just marketed wrong.
Well, what I think they're fixing that whole thing. If you notice the paint videos they're doing on YouTube now, they'll pick something like, I think they did 1,000 Suns, or they did some Chaos Space Marine over the last 2 days. They do it one day with the old style paint, where, it's paint, base coat, wash, highlight, edge highlight. And then they do it the next day with contrast, and they're really good about showing the contrast paints and how to thin them and get the effect you want, and they'll say pretty much flat out, don't use this one straight out of the pot. It's really dark. So they are, in the videos, they're covering a lot of ground. Because I know the first few videos, they didn't really mention the contrast medium at all. I think that did a disservice to the people who tried it originally because they didn't realize you could thin those things down. There was actually a product out there to do that, to make them a little more manageable. So.
Okay. Fair enough. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and watch some of those videos then and see what they're doing with contrast, because I've just been bouncing ideas off of Zach, who painted a whole squig army in I don't know, it seemed like a couple weeks. Yeah, using just contrast. 95% contrast paints, and they look awesome. Yeah, so it can be done. But all right. Yeah, that's been me.
Nice. So I think we got our hobby out of the way.
Yeah.
Wait. There's another section on the sheet here. I've never seen that one before. What's this?
Games we've played, baby.
What?
Battles.
We don't do that.
It's been a minute. That is for sure. So this last weekend I was at the Colorado Clan Carnage team event.
Really?
Yeah. And I got some games of Age of Sigmar in.
I thought you were just up there shooting videos. Weird.
Yeah. Yeah, there were some videos taken that will not see the light of day.
Oh, you want to bet? They'll be on the Facebook page later.
Oh, no. No.
So tell me all about Colorado Clan Carnage.
So it's a team event, teams of 3. We had 12 teams, I think, I think it went down to 11 because there was a bye round floating around because that's what we got round 1. So, it's your standard team tournament. One team throws up an army, the other one matches it, throws up another army, back and forth. It's only three-man teams, so there's not a lot of meta involved with that selection, but that's how it is for now.
Well, it becomes even more important when there's less because you don't have as much wiggle room, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, when you have 5-man teams, you can kind of sort of push off one game. You know, when we know we're going to have one really bad matchup, we can not count it. But
yeah,
when you have 3, you've got to make
each one count. Yeah. We'll just go through my games pretty quick. So the first round we had a bye, but me and Randall Nelson played a game. He was my teammate. He had Tomb Kings.
Nice.
Using the Legion of Sacrament or Legion of Nagash or something. I can't remember.
Oh, Sacrament. I've heard that's something that they use a lot.
Yeah. I can't remember exactly what it was. But yeah, it was the old Tomb Kings with Cetra.
Nice.
Or, well, I'm sorry, the Tomb King Royal Chariot, something, I don't know, whatever. Say it was Cetra.
We can call her what she is.
Yeah. So, and I was playing a double cabbage Iron Jaws list.
Holy
yeah, so 2 cabbages, 2 war chanters, and 12 pigs. That was my 2,000 points.
Any named cabbages or no?
No.
Stay away from
I played a warm-up game against Andrew the week before, and I used Gordrak as one of my cabbages.
Yeah.
Man, he's so good now.
Mm-hmm.
He's actually a model you want to think about taking.
Right.
But I decided to drop him for the points to buy a command point and to kind of kit out one of the Maw Crushes the way I wanted. So my general was very defensive because I went with Iron Suns. So he had the -1 rend and then some stuff like that. I focused him on being more defensive, and then the other one I went all out offense, and he had heavy
nice.
So he had the mortal wounds on a 4-up with destructive bulk, and he had the metal Ripa's claw or whatever. So his attacks were rend 3. Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah.
So played the Tomb Kings round 1, and he put up a giant screen with 30 archers and then put all his chariots and characters behind that. I went up and smashed it all off.
Wow.
Yeah. That was the thing about the list. It was super fast, so turn 1 charges were pretty much a thing if you wanted them. All the pigs were in a gore fist. So, yeah. I mean, he had a chance to swing it back. I mean, I had him beat on points. I mean, I had the game, but as far as smashing back and forth and everything, Cetra rolled the 5-up once, and he can keep doing it with. Oh, he had the red fury. So every time you roll a 5-up at the end of combat, he fights again and fights again and fights again and fights again. Yeah, and that model's no joke. It hit hard, but. I went first, and he wasn't able to get his synergies up and all of that. And I was pretty much on top of him. But it was good. I mean, I haven't gotten a lot of games in. Nelson hasn't gotten a lot of games in either, unfortunately. He's been focused more on 40K this season. But I think this event definitely stoked his love for Age of Sigmar. So I think after Las Vegas Open, he's going to come back over to the Sigmar side.
Fold.
Yeah.
Good deal.
Yeah.
Good deal.
So, round 2, I played against Iron Jaws, a mirror match. Ooh. James Valdez out of Kansas. His list was a little more balanced. It had some Ardboys and some pigs, only 1 Maw Crusher. And I'm all over the place. Round 2. Oh, this is why I forgot. So we played the gentleman from around here. We played James... The old James from early days of the show.
Yay.
And his son, Jules, and Jeremy. Yeah. That was my round 2. And I called out the grudge match against James and his Sylvaneth with my Iron Jaws.
Oh, my God. Yeah. That's like a blast from the past.
I was like, let's freaking do this. We both got new books. Unfortunately, I had started drinking at 9 o'clock in the morning. And then lunch was between round 1 and 2, and I went across the street with some of the guys, with my teammates, Randy, and to a little bar that had bottomless mimosas.
Oh, my God. No.
And the cup that she was pouring them in was like a quarter gallon a shot, I swear to God.
Oh.
And after I crushed 7 of those, we stumbled back to the event at 11:30. I don't even remember the time. All 3 of us were so drunk. going into round 2 on day 1.
Setting yourself up for a big. You remember when we did the tournament prep shows and how to be at a tournament? That's one of the things we talked about.
Yep.
Yeah.
That whole throwing stones out of your glass house thing.
Yeah.
Jeez. So from what I can remember of the game, we played the long way deployment, and I screwed up I didn't screw up. I've mentioned, like, pretty much every time we go to a Colorado event, they have these cards that you can pull that are easy, medium, and hard, and I'm a big believer of pulling the hard cards. And this is the first event that absolutely screwed me pretty much in every single game.
Really?
Yeah, the cards just need to be updated. They were written back in the days of like 6th or 7th edition Warhammer Fantasy battles, and they're just dated. And there was some goofy stuff that like really disrupted the enjoyment of the game for both me and my opponent on some of them. So I talked with Billy afterwards, and I think that's going to be a project that somebody's going to undertake up there is updating those cards for Age of Sigmar. But anyways, the card that I pulled was called Boom. What you do is you put a bomb on one of your characters, and they have to end up in your opponent's deployment zone. So I was like, okay, well, I'll put it on my general. He's on a mock Russia.
Oh, boy.
And he's going to get across the table, no problem. Problem is I didn't read it. Again, slightly inebriated.
Oh.
And it says, as soon as you make contact with your enemy deployment zone, you blow up and you're removed from the table.
Oh, wow.
So, I was like, turn 1, I can be there. Oh, and then I'll die. And I don't even get to fight or do anything. And it kind of split my army up and stuff. And it was totally on me. And so the offensive Crusher went in, killed Drycha right away, and then just didn't have enough in him without any support to then take out Durthu and the Tree Lord Ancient and all the other stuff. Yep. So he got me. But that being said, in good game to James, he picked my part. But
it's not a first. It's not a first.
Right. But I have to say it was the first time playing him with his Sylvaneth, with my Iron Jaws, that I thought, oh, I had a chance.
Yeah.
Like, I legitimately had a chance of because if I had not taken that stupid card, I could have had both my crushes in on him turn 1 and not gone after Drycha. I don't care about Drycha. I would have went after the Durthu and the Tree Lord Ancient, took the throat right out of his army, turn 1, and then go from there. And all of a sudden he's got 2 crushes and 12 pigs in his face. That's hard to deal with. Yeah, and I totally screwed myself. So, and then, and he pounced on it.
Yep.
Took me off. So, I lost round 2. I lost the grudge match. Sad days. Round 3 is when I played the mirror match, Iron Jaws.
Right.
James Valdez. And, I won. I can't remember the card that I pulled for this one. I don't even remember the mission. I'd have to go back and look at all those. But I just felt very confident looking at the mirror match because the army's so fast that I can dictate the battles against the Iron Jaws. And when you can do that, it kind of feels like it doesn't matter who you're swinging against when you have combat superiority and smashing and bashing. It's like so good. Oh, smashing and bashing is so good. So, I took James down on that one. And then that was the end of day 1. So I was at 2-1 at the end of day 1.
Oh, they counted the bye as a win?
Well, no, they gave us a bye, but in my heart.
But in the game.
Yeah. Games that I actually played.
Yeah, 2-1.
I was 2-1 coming back into AOS with Iron Jaws. I was like, sweet, this is pretty cool. So
you're like a regular Gary Percival.
Well,
all right, maybe not.
Whoa. So round 4 on day 2, I went up against Ideneth Deepkin.
Oh, boy.
Army I've never played before. Never even really seen him on the table except for at LVO. So it was a Deepkin army plus Gotrek.
Oh, wow.
Plus Gotrek. And so...
Was he mounted on an eel?
No, that would have been pretty sweet. So before, when we were thinking of our pairings and everything, at first, he got into our heads They're like, no, I don't want to play against Gotrek. You play him. Because I was like, well, I have two big monsters that are just going to evaporate if he gets near them. So that's half my army, right? I don't want a piece of that. Get out of here. And so Randall was like, well, maybe I can take him with my Fire Slayers, and everything. I can wear him down, blah, blah, blah. And I got drawn against him. Well, at the end, I ended up saying, you know what? Actually, it's ridiculous. I should play him. I'm like way faster than you guys. I can just stay away from him.
Stay away from him. Yeah.
He'll never get into combat. If he sits on an objective, that's fine. I'll take the other 3. I don't care.
Yeah.
So that was the idea.
Okay.
And then, like a genius, I pulled a red card again.
Oh, no.
That was called the Cursed Idol. Cursed Idol says, put this artifact on a character. That character has a 3-inch bubble that gives everything +1 bravery. Garbage.
Mm-hmm.
However, and he has to make it into your enemy deployment zone with the artifact. He has to stay alive. Also, at the beginning of your turn, you roll a die for every one of your units on the table, and on a 5-up, they cannot activate.
Oh, wow.
I rolled a 5-up for at least half of my army every turn. On the first turn, I had 8 units. I rolled a 5-up on 5 of them.
Holy.
So my half of my army literally sat there the whole game while Gotrek walked his 4-inch moving dwarven ass across the table and got there and just started slaughtering things, and I couldn't even fight back.
And not to mention, he's got Adnet Thiepkin, so he's reasonably fast, and he's able to pounce on the units that Gotrek hasn't, eliminated.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
It was so by like turn 3, even my opponent was like, this is kind of not fun.
Yeah.
Because it's not a game. Like your army's not even reacting.
It's a whack-a-mole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That being said, I still almost beat him, even with like 3 units running around, 3 or 4 units. He just I think it was turn 4. He managed to cap all 4 objectives, and I forget the name of it. Shifting objectives. It's the one where you get 1 point each, but then you get an additional point for the turn you take it from your opponent.
Right.
And so when he took all the objectives back, it was just such a big point swing, and he got ahead of me. And at that point, I just kept rolling 5-ups.
You're not making it back.
What I had wasn't able to play to get anywhere to do anything. Yeah, it was so aggravating.
That's a bad card.
Yeah. We threw that one in the trash.
Good.
After that game.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was frustrating. And it sucked because the guy I played, his name's Kyle, and he was from a group coming up out of Colorado Springs. This was their first event.
Oh, nice.
And he was a really fun opponent. It was a lot of fun to play. In fact, I gave him my best opponent vote.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a really good game.
Good.
In fact, all my games were really good, which was nice. It's always fun to come back to an event in the game and have all your opponents be good. And all the games were. It's hard when it's something like that, where it's like an aspect of the game that's making it unenjoyable, not your opponent,
Yeah.
So, anyways, it is what it is. I ended up losing that one. And round 5, we went up against the Wobbly Modelers, which is
Scrubs, right?
Yeah, they're kind of the clowns of Colorado guys.
Sorry, Greg.
Yeah. So it's Greg and Will and Ben, and Greg was playing just a disgusting Clan Pestilence list that nobody there wanted a piece of. Will had an Iron Jaws, which is what I wanted. I wanted the mirror match.
Yeah,
that was my ideal matchup. And then Ben was playing a Khorne list with Archeon.
Oh.
Yeah, and I was like, I mean, if I have to take that one, I will, but I want the Iron Jaws. And no, I got Ben with Archeon.
Yeah.
And it was Duality of Death.
Oh, boy.
Which I have to say is a terrible mission for campaign or for tournaments.
Yeah, it is.
Not terribly fun. I thought I deployed well. Turns out it was just dumb. So I put all my pigs in one corner and then all my characters in the other. And the idea was, well, the pigs will run up, take one objective. And then he put his entire army. He had it was Khorne Mortals, so he had a Gore Pilgrims,
mm-hmm.
and then a Slaughter Totem guy, the great big banner. Good Lord, I don't remember. Blood Secretor?
Blood Secretors.
Yeah. And then Archeon. That was his army.
Yeah.
So
he can whip everybody.
Yeah, it was disgusting. What I should have done, so this is why this is such a dumb mission. What I should have done was put a War Chanter on one corner, a War Chanter in the other corner, because he's a 3-drop, I'm a 5.
Right.
And then at that point, he's dropped his whole army. And then I just put everything left in one corner, the opposite one. And my turn 1, I just Mighty Destroyers that lone War Chanter up on the objective, get that point, put the rest of my army on the other objective, get that point, and then spread my army out so that he has to slowly chew through it. Even with Archeon, like Archeon is going to kill a unit a turn. At that point, he can't kill enough to get to the other objective in time.
He won't wear it down.
And I just win. And by 1 point, I stay 1 point ahead of him the whole time.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is stupid. We're not even playing a game at this point. Like, it's just, I don't know. It sucks because Ben was actually a lot of fun to play against. He was a great opponent. I don't want to cheapen his win. Archeon killed my entire army by himself.
Wow.
Every unit in my army except one unit of 3 pigs that died to Blood Boil and that axe, that endless prayer axe, ridiculous thing. Good God, that is... I've never seen that on the table before. That is heinous.
That's a cool little spell.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a... Yeah.
Archeon killed literally everything else, attacking twice for a command point. Yeah, he just walked through my entire army.
You know, it's funny because Archeon, we were talking about this the other day at the store, Archeon is one of those models where it's usually a trap. Taking him is usually a trap because he's great to intimidate an opponent.
Yeah.
But someone that knows what he does and how to negate him makes it to where he's just a point sink.
It was frustrating because in my head I was like, well, as long as he doesn't Slayer of Kings me, my defensive cabbage will be fine.
Yeah.
Because the best Archeon has is Rend 1.
Yeah.
So I'm just sitting there on 3 ups.
Yeah.
You know, I should be able to, I should be fine. So he rocked up with 5 attacks per combat. All right, the first round of combat, he did 5 attacks with Slayer of Kings. And got like 5 wounds. Didn't double 6 any of them. I think I failed all 5.
Of
course. He just like took me off, and I was like, "Cool. Yeah. I guess that's what we're doing."
Yeah.
So
when you have that day, it's God, it's so disheartening. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, Archeon killed both cabbages and 3 of the 4 units of pigs, both War Chanters.
See, that's so crazy because he really is. He's not the offensive machine that you think he should be.
Yeah.
But by God, when he works like nobody else.
Very curious to see what his rework is. If they're going to redo his scroll or whatever. I'm sure they will.
I think they will.
Just like they did with Nagash.
With this Ever-Chosen stuff and the War-Cry morphing into...
Well, just the Slaves of Darkness book, yeah.
It's going to be... I think he's going to get... again, I think they're just going to put him back into the realm of Nagash, Alaria. He's not going to be... heads and tails above everybody else to where it's no fun.
Yeah.
But he's got to be beefed up a little bit. Just that model's too freaking gorgeous to be sitting dust protecting shelves.
Yeah.
He's just too flippin' awesome.
Also, Varangard. Make those really sweet too.
Yeah.
Anyways, so that was my game 5. I lost. Actually, I tied him.
Oh.
On points, and then it went to
battle points.
I didn't kill a single model in his army.
Oh, my God.
Did not. Yeah. He lost 5 Blood Reavers, and that's because he kept sacrificing them for Blood Tithe.
Sure.
God. That was such a ridiculous game. But yeah, that just shows you how just dumb Duality of Death is.
Usually you leave it out of a tournament just because it's not fun in that setting.
Yeah, I think anything that's 2 objectives.
Yeah.
Just bounce it. I don't know. Anyways, that's my personal thoughts on that. But yeah, 5 great games against 5 great opponents.
Nice.
Even though the first one didn't really technically count, but still it was nice playing Nelson and smashing the crap out of him to repay him for that 1 wound Nagash snafu. But,
you're still sore about that.
I will always. That's my nemesis is Nagash with 1 wound.
I love it.
So yeah, it was a lot of fun. I'm so glad I went, even though I had to drive all the way to Denver. Solo.
Yeah.
Drive all the way back, go to work on Monday.
Oh,
it was rough.
Gosh,
Very rough. But it was
I can imagine. But yeah, it was fun. So sounds like it was fun. I wish I could have gone. I really.
Yeah, well, next year.
Yeah.
Next year we're going to do it, Bill.
Yes, we have to we have a crown to take.
Yep.
we have a legend to forge. So that's going to dovetail kind of nicely into what we wanted to talk about in lore. And that was, it wasn't 2 or 3 shows ago, we were lamenting about how destruction was pretty much languishing as
Well, I think
the
it was
distant fourth.
a little further back than that. Well, I think what it was when they announced that they were going to just be absolutely raining down army books for this year. And we were kind of like, well, let's really hope that destruction gets some love, because it's been mostly order and chaos, and then some sweet stuff for death here and there, and which has continued because the OCR Bone Reapers are bananas.
My God.
Yeah, we were really hoping that destruction would get scary.
A little something.
Again. And I have to tell you, so, this was my only experience with the new Auric War Clans book.
Yeah.
And it was pure Iron Jaws. So I can't say anything about Savage Oryx, and I can't say anything about the Big Wog. But I have to tell you, Iron Jaws, so much fun.
Yeah.
So much fun to play. I have never had this much fun playing Iron Jaws before.
That's nice.
The way this army works now, they're scary. So seeing your opponent having to make decisions because they know that any one of your units catching them out in a bad position means they're probably going to lose a unit.
Yeah.
It's just watching cabbages do work like that.
Yeah.
Watching the Gore Gruntas have that level of punch now is just, and having synergies, right? Having to think in your hero phase of how do I want to buff? Where do I want to buff?
Yeah.
Saving command points or just blowing them all for some crazy thing, and not it just being well, I'm going to drop 7 of them on wogs and go in with blenders. This is that's dumb. I'm glad they changed that.
Yeah.
Because now it's more of it's potentially a long term, and that's the problem I was running into is I still had the mentality of I'm playing Iron Jaws. I have to be hyper aggressive.
Yeah.
All the time. And it's no, I don't have to. I have the speed.
Because you can always turn that on when you need to.
Yeah. I was I can stand back for a round or maybe even 2. I don't even have to do this till turn 3.
Yep.
That's when I come at you with everything. And at that point, I've really stacked command points. So I'm giving +1 to hit on a bunch of stuff. I'm giving +1 damage on a bunch of stuff. I'm using mighty destroyers tactically to get around and do things, or using it in my hero phase to fight. It's just there's so many layers, and I was still forgetting rules. I don't think I ever used Mad as Hell, and I'm on the show on the record saying that's probably the best ability in the game. I never remembered it. And then the other I used the Big Wog twice out of my 5 games and still forgot to add the ones to the +1 attacks and stuff. Yeah, so even then there was there was still that much more of the army I didn't use. I didn't even bring a shaman to try any of the magic.
Sure. Yeah.
I saw Ard Boys in action on other tables, and wow, they're disgusting. The only thing that was slightly overwhelming from what I saw firsthand, and this is from a limited sample, is brutes seem to be a little underwhelming. Yeah. I'm hoping in the long term I'm proved wrong because I absolutely love those models. Yeah. But there was a little it just seems like Gore Gruntas and Ard Boys, you're going to get more efficiency out of them, I suppose.
I think the bugaboo from Iron Jaws before was the brutes, and so things were brought up and they were brought down a little.
Yeah,
they just don't. I mean, I know we talked about this when we talked about what they needed was we needed to have an option besides the brutes in the army. And now it's out there. Now you can play Ard Boys. You can play Gore Gruntas.
Yeah.
You don't have to just have a big mass of brutes or lots of little masses of brutes and a cabbage. It's you can play it the way you want to play it now.
Or using Ard Boys to screen. Yeah. And then the pigs. Yeah. The pigs were there for speed and really nothing else. And now the pigs are such a viable all-around unit. They're fast. They're still fairly tough.
Those are 3 wound?
They're 5 wounds
5
each with a 4-up save.
That's right, yeah.
which sounds like a lot, but it doesn't take much to chew them off the table
Right.
if you focus on them. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting a lot for your points.
Yeah.
And that charge, doing mortal wounds on a 4-up for every model. Oh man, it's so good. It's man, yeah. The
It's
army
going to
is
get
just so
nerfed.
much fun.
Yeah.
No, it won't get nerfed because I mean it's 3 models, so it's
Yeah.
a mortal wound and a half on a charge. You'll be all right. It's having some, because there was still plenty of turns where I'd get into combat with them and they just would not produce.
Sure.
And so I was having like flashbacks to old Iron but it still felt like, honestly, it's the +1 damage.
Yeah.
So what that does is allow you to get a little consistency out of them.
Yes.
So that
Which
you
is-
can, because it used to be you charge in with these stupid pigs. You have all the attacks in the world. You could even do the crazy 8-inch
Yeah.
charge and get the D3 damage. And there's so many times you go in with the pigs and they just whiff.
Yeah. They wouldn't.
It was so frustrating. And now, or they'd get a couple wounds in. And now the thing is, the profile is still the same
Right.
for all intents and purposes. But the handful that do get through, when you're doubling the damage to 2, it's like, okay, now I'm finally getting some punch.
Yes.
Even when I kind of crap the bed on them
Yeah.
and the rolls, I can still get a little consistency.
They're
out of
still
these
bringing
guys.
the heat.
Yeah.
When they get there.
That was nice for
Yeah.
having a unit that's that fast and resilient to get around and support in an army that small.
Yep.
So, yeah, the pigs are good. And that whole army is just so much fun. So much fun. I'm definitely looking forward to more games with them.
You can say the exact same thing for the ogre Maw tribes.
Mm-hmm.
They're now flexible enough to play the way that you envision they should play, and you're not locked into a single list to be the only thing that you can run. You can do anything now and have a grand time. That's what I'm truly enjoying about reading through the Maw Tribes book is every unit has something that it does that you want. Hell, you want to take one of everything in the book.
Oh, that's always good.
But where your real money lies is bringing more of something than other things. Like, I really wanted to, I just had this in my head of a firing line of lead belchers, even though they only have a 12-inch range. I think it would be funny to watch.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's destruction, I think, has gone from a very distant fourth cousin to the rest of the alliances to right up there with anybody. They can stand toe to toe now.
Yeah.
At Blood and Glory, which was this weekend, last weekend. I know it was won by Cities of Sigmar and all that stuff, but there were some destruction lists that did pretty well. And I really cannot wait for the next big event to see where, once Maw Tribe settles out, once the Oryx start to settle out, and to see where destruction stands. Basically I'm waiting for LLV's stats to come out and see how they improve in the overall meta of the game, worldwide, not, well, in our area, it's nothing but, Iron Jaws. So.
Definitely. Yeah, I cannot attest in any way about Maw Tribes. That is a book that I downloaded it, and Bone Reapers the day they finally became available on the app.
Yeah.
Like 2 days after.
Yeah.
And I've not even begun to read them. I definitely want to.
It's a beautiful book. I mean, it's a beautiful. Just think about the big monsters, the Thundertusk, the Stonehorns. They did get knocked down a peg a little bit in their individual war scroll to make up for that, and they didn't go down in points at all. To make up for that, they now have mount abilities. So
that's good.
And of course, the overall ability for them to do the damage on their charge. Everything that they lost on the war scroll is made up for by army-wide rules or relics or mount traits. I mean, you can customize this army. If you literally want to take an army from the old book and build it, you can do that. It's well within the points range to make it look just like it did in the old book. But there's so many more options now that you have regular ogres. You have stuff that can go sit on an objective.
Yeah.
You don't have to just sit there and have, well, here's my Thundertusk, here's my Stonehorn, here's all my Mournfangs. Okay, I bet you don't know what I'm going to do. You're not having to wait for that anymore. Yeah. Now you have options. Hell, I just built a Firebelly.
Yeah.
I'm going to be casting spells, for God's sakes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, real ones.
I am so stoked to do a throwdown with you.
Yeah, we got to
Iron
do
Jaws
Iron
against
Jaws. And
Law Tribes. So
we should do a mating engagement this weekend or something. Oh, no, you got kids.
yeah.
So
We'll figure something out.
maybe
We'll get
one
some-
night we'll just
Yeah.
do a quick meeting engagement just to throw it at, just throw stuff at each other.
Sounds good.
See
to
how
me.
it rolls out. Because, yeah, I mean, I do have to, I want to do a quick aside about the truck in Atlanta that spilled all the dice.
Oh, yeah.
So truck is driving around a curve in Atlanta. It misjudges the speed, and it loses 3 pallets of Chess X dice. So 216,000 D6 rolled on an Atlanta highway. I mean, it was just a great image, and, all these people are, like, laughing. There's this great video of the guy. I wonder if we should go and total it all up for a world record,
Yeah, right.
But I shared it on Facebook, and I just said, well, this is just one of Elric's combat phases. I don't see what everybody's all freaked out about.
Yeah. I immediately thought of me holding 40 dice in my
Buckets.
hand so much that I would shake it, but nothing moves.
Nothing moved, yeah.
Yep.
And that would be the first roll, because you were actually rolling 80.
Yep. Good times.
So, are we done, sir? We just did a quick wrap-up of Clan Carnage and how much cooler Destruction is now.
Oh, yeah. So good.
Yeah. I really can't wait to see the numbers.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
But I don't really think we have too much until the next show when we actually have a couple of throwdowns here. And I'm going to get you to play Aeronautica Imperialis one of these days.
I am totally down for that.
Good deal. So,
All right.
good to go?
Good to go.
Done. If you would like to get in touch with us, you can reach us on our Facebook page, www.facebook.com/rollingbadpodcast, all one word. Our Patreon page is at www.patreon.com/rollingbadpodcast, again, all one word. The Twitter account for the show is at rolling_bad, and our individual Twitter accounts are, for me, at Bill Castello, Castello, and for Ryan, he is at RT Gamer. All of our guests on the show will have their contact information in the show notes, and any products that we mention will also be similarly placed in the show notes. The music for the show is used courtesy of Kevin MacLeod at incompetech.com and used under the Creative Commons license.